לקחת אחד מהמועד... לא. בקורס נושא יש 7
נושאים מלא
כללי.
לא רעש.
יש לנו הרבה זמן.
כאילו בדעת
בסופו של דבר אני אלך לטייל קצת.
לעשות עוד קורס אצל המרצה הזאת שמיכל נגיד תגיע נפש.
אבל זה, יש לנו שבוע הזה שבוע הבא. זה שבוע חופש, אז בראשון יש לנו לימודים בשבוע חופש. הסטטיסטיקה שתכירו זה שם. זה 15. זה 15.
משנה? כמה יש לנו?
אוקיי. תלוי להשאיר כאן אני חושב שלדעתי יותר חשוב בשביל החיבור מאשר השני. אני בממוצע לא נעבוד עם פרסנו אז כאילו יותר חשוב באמת שהיא מישהו שהוא, כמו שאת אומרת, מאוד מאוד אקטיב לא לכוון כאילו לקחת את זה בתור שיקול, אבל החיבור העבודה המשותפת יותר חשוב מעבר לזה שבשש, כאילו בסדר גודל הזה לשמור ההפעלה, מתכוונים לפרסם 100 מאמרים ומ-50 זה כבר כאילו תלוי, זה לא אנשים שהם עם 3 אחוזים. לקום בקרה, רואים את זה האיש שעשה בארפארט, כל השפים וזה בטבע התקסנית של סיימה על 8 מאמרים. 4.5 מוגזם. לא, שם מסוים אני כאילו פוליטי, צריך לקחת את כל המכלול. כל הדבר הזה שלך לא בשביל אף אחד. לא, כאילו אני יודע זה לא בריא, אין דבר כזה.
יכול להגיד את זה יותר חזק.
בגדול, צריך מחזור זה ישמע. אם יש הצעה שלך מספיק מעניין, איפה לא מספיק טוב. כי אלו מבחנים, אם זה מבחינת אנגלית או ג'ימאץ ודברים כאלה, זה אפשרי, כן? זה לא בשמיים, אני לא יודע מבחינה כלכלית. לא מלגה, כמה שאני נכנס לצור. זה הפעיה. טוב. טוב, what's up? Good morning, how are you? Another week, another delay in the strike, in the attack. They're trying to target it on your exam. Okay, so
Oh no!
but still, yeah, but still you should study. So we still have a short small clip from last week, okay, mental accounting. So we'll run a short recap as another way for you to embed the material even more so, okay, by the way, heading towards the exam. Okay, so a short recap, and then we'll finish this topic of mental accounting. I understood that the piranhas of the MBA, when you go to your break at 9:20, you already know some things are already finished. So maybe we'll even have your break around 9. Okay, so you have time to go there, eat. Okay, so. Okay, and then we'll continue with our next topic, the intertemporal choice, and we will also address the exam shortly. Yeah. Okay, so this is our plan for today. So last week we talked about mental accounting. Okay, we said it's one of the big fundamental frameworks in the field. Basically, what it says that similarly to companies that have their budgets, they allocate their budget to different departments, the way that we also as individuals and households allocate our accounts, okay, mentally. These are non-transferable accounts, and the way that we allocate them affects the way that we are going to use them afterward. Thaler basically said that we derive pleasure from two sources. We have the regular so-called source, okay, the acquisition utility, similar to standard economic theory. Okay, we derive utility from this kind of comparison between the benefits that we get from the good and the price that we are paying, but of course we try to maximize the benefit. But he also said that this is not where it ends. We also have transaction utility. Okay, the perceived quality of the deal. Did I screw them or did they screw me? Okay, and this is something that we need to take according to Thaler. We need to take into consideration, okay, the actual price, okay, it's a perceived price, and what we actually paid. And then according to Thaler, when we take these two, the acquisition utility, the transaction utility, this is really our total utility. Okay, yeah.
You know, in some places, like maybe a restaurant or a hotel, they have like this certificate, like, okay, good value for money. I feel like they use this principle.
Definitely.
Like, okay, what you're paying, it's worth. Like you're screwing them.
Yeah, so definitely. So maybe they didn't think about it and say, okay, Thaler, 1985, they said that there is a transaction utility, so we're going to put it there. But you know, marketing and the way you want to present yourself, but behaviorally, the way that it works is increasing the transaction utility. Okay, it's a great example. Okay, and then we talked about like the general concepts of like under the general concept of mental accounting and the psychology of money, we talked about some specific concepts. We talked about fungibility, okay, which is the ability of an asset to be exchanged. We talked about hedonic framing, okay, which tells us how we can maximize the pain, maximize the psychological gain and or pleasure from our gains, and minimize the psychological pain of losses. Okay, we talked about these for tools or principles. Mental budgeting, okay, which is quite similar to mental accounting, but they are focusing on like they call themselves a certain of to control expenses. Okay, we saw that it's quite similar, but still there are differences. Emotional accounting basically means that the source matters. Okay, the source from which I get the money, okay, affects the way I'm going to use it and consume goods. Specifically, under this emotional accounting concept, we talked about the laundering effect. Okay, when we try to launder our negative or the negative source of the money, okay, with buying donating money or using it on the utilitarian causes or and so on. And we ended by talking on the pain of payment. Okay, that the pain we don't like to pay. We like to consume. We like to consume in a very good price, but we don't like to pay because it adds a psychological cost, a psychological pain to the consumption experience. And we said that it affects influenced by two main things: the saliency of pain and what we call payment decoupling. We gave this example, okay, of the difference between standing near the gas pump, okay, watching this money increase, and on the other side, we don't feel the price of electricity, okay, only at the end of the month. Okay, of course, this is more salient, even though this might be more expensive in the long run. And payment decoupling, which is the psychological disconnection between the act of paying or the timing which we pay and the consumption of the good, which of course, as the separation between the act of paying and the consumption of the good increases, okay, the pain decreases, sorry, and then it's supposed to lead us to higher spending. We ended up with this example, okay, only because you asked for sport examples, okay, but basically we see that regardless of the goods, okay, we're talking about the tickets or the banners, or what matters here is that for the same good, people were willing to pay more, sometimes in twice as much with their credit cards compared to cash.
So when we pay your phone, you can spend more money.
It's supposed to lead you to spending more money, consuming more, okay? Because you don't feel it. It's like it's even like simpler than taking.
Yes, that's what
wallet.
I asked.
Yeah.
Compared to credit card, it's even more.
Yeah, even more. Okay, I don't have my credit card on my phone. Okay, like as a principle. Really. Yeah, if I need to pay something, I will pay it on my card or again cash. They don't pay me here in cash, so I don't have cash. But in purpose, I don't put it there. Sometimes I walk with my dog, and then like my wife tells me, maybe bring that and that, and I go there. And then I remember I don't have my wallet. I don't have the payment app. So we are both left hungry, but a bit richer in our. Okay, but yeah, definitely it's a better. It's even for marketeers and the company. It's even better for you to use your phone.
Researcher about it. No, with the tap.
The tap specifically.
Yes.
I assume yes. I'm not familiar with like specific research on it, but all this notion, of mental distancing. Okay, mental distancing can be manifested in many ways. Relationships or stuff like that, but also the way we pay, the way we consume goods. Okay. So real life applications, okay, of pain of payment. Any ideas? Okay, this psychological cost.
Like you don't even see it when it happens.
Okay, so it's a method to reduce the pain of payment.
Yeah.
Right. Something else?
I guess like a subscription in general.
Mhm.
Very small fee, you don't really notice it, but against.
Right.
Buy
Yeah.
now, pay later. Buy now, pay later.
Right. Okay. This is the classic example of payment decoupling. Right? They want to cut or distance as much as possible between your payment and consumption.
כמו משכנתה כאילו?
Mashkanta, I think it's painful either way.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Get a house,
the
not a.
bank
a
gets a
turbo.
house, and after 20 or 30 years, then you own the house. But no, but seriously, what do you mean by mashkanta?
I don't know, the fact that you pay for such a long time, it's like it becomes part of your life.
Mhm. Yeah, so if we address it behaviorally, so first we can think about the diminishing sensitivity. Okay, I'm already paying too much, I'm paying for 10, 15, 20 years, so of course it hurts, but I'm getting used to it. Okay, and every additional payment hurts, but less. Reference point, okay, now I don't have a mashkanta, so I feel free and liberated. But if I buy a house and I pay for a mortgage, okay, so this is the new me now. So in 5 years or 10 years, I know, of course I feel it, but less because my reference point have changed.
I think it's actually like preventing, like, it has a long effect, very big burden for many years to come. So it's really like the opposite way around. Like,
Yeah, so you can,
before the act.
it can work, of course, it can work both ways. Okay, it highly depends on your personal judgment or of the situation, or even your preferences. What do you prefer? Like the younger generation, okay, I would say our generation, but it's not the same as our parents. Okay, you need to buy a house, you need to have 4 walls and stuff like that. Okay, we treat it in general differently.
I think it was more affordable back then. It was, people were able to buy a house on one salary and they were able to buy it relatively young. At this point, for us, it's a much bigger burden than it was.
So definitely, but like in every period in time, it's all relative. Back then, the salaries were also lower, taking into consideration inflation and stuff like that. So it might be pretty much the same, even though I don't think that it's quite the same. Still, in nowadays, it's much more expensive and much more difficult to buy a house. But still, it's relative. I don't think that back then they felt like it's not expensive.
It was expensive, but I think it was more possible.
Yeah, again, I agree.
Maybe for them,
And you got more for what you paid.
Yeah, but all everything was different. This is what they lived for. This is what the only thing they didn't travel as much with this generation. They
Yeah.
didn't
Didn't pay
spend money on
Netflix.
even
Yeah.
gym and stuff like that. This was their main purpose.
Yeah.
To buy a house.
Different generation, different point in times, but yeah, objectively, I think it's more difficult now. But again, the question is that your main purpose or okay? Okay, so in the 90s, okay, AOL, America Online, was maybe the main internet provider, and they had this pricing method: 20 hours for $20, and then every additional hour another $3. And then they said, okay, let's change it. In 1996, it was, I think. Okay, they said, oh, let's change our payment method, unlimited access for $20. And they sat with their economists and statisticians and stuff like that, or building the models, and they tried to understand what increase in usage to expect. And they conclude that the prediction was moderate increase. Okay, they said, okay, here already this is a lot of burden on the infrastructure. Okay, so people that are already here, okay, maybe they will consume a bit more, but not that they already consume or use the internet a lot. And then we have here this small tail, so probably they will go also there, okay, to the above 20 hours consumption, hours of internet consumption. And the people the consumers that are over here, okay, they won't go from 5 to 35. They'll go from here, maybe a bit, okay? So economically, this is what they decided to do, but they wanted to think or try to predict how it's going to affect the infrastructure. So we said, okay, this is kind of a moderate change and we can handle it and everything will be okay. What happened?
No shame.
Yeah, they failed to accurately predict the change in the usage patterns, and this change caused a massive surge. Okay, basically shutting down their entire infrastructure and internet for a long period of time. Of course, they were able to bring it back, but then again, troubles, issues, bring it back again, and another issues. Okay, I think it also led to some lawsuits. Okay, back then. So there are, of course, many reasons why they failed. We can explain why they failed to predict it. But if we are addressing it behaviorally, okay, in terms of what we learn here under this subject of mental accounting or pain of payment, how can we explain it?
One deal like gutters to people. And we have in our house, in the building, we have a joint water account. And yesterday I was taking a shower. I don't need to close the tap. I'm paying like the big family. So I might as well just shower like I should. So it's all can happen. One maximum, yes.
In great examples, in my we are free, my wife, my son, me, we also have a dog. And they made a mistake when we entered this apartment a year ago. Okay, they made a mistake, maybe because the former residents were 4, I don't know, we are still paying like we are 4, which is of course a mistake. But when I entered, I was honest. I said, we are only 3, but they kept it like this, okay? So, well,
We are showering like for.
exactly. So it's just, you know, every time we like pushing it a bit. So I tell my wife, it's okay. We are 4.
Yeah.
We need to, you know, to justify it and also have the dog. So basically, we need to be 5. Okay, so great explanation. Okay, increasing the transaction utility. Something more. Okay, basically what they did here.
For every overusage, it's more painful, right? So it's going to prevent people from using it beyond their allotted amount.
Great. So maybe a diminishing sensitivity, right?
Thinking more of like the what's called it's painful. It's painful. It's not like diminishing. No, it's the opposite. Meaning like if you in the old model, people used it less because every extra minute that they went over was painful, so then they would stop. But here, if it's unlimited, then they're going.
Got you. Okay, great. So how can we? A great explanation, but how can we call it? Like which kind of
pain? Is it
pain of payment and pain? Great, but the saliency. Okay. Basically, they remove the saliency. Like Shimshon said, okay, when I know that for every each additional hour I need to pay another $3, it's more painful. But when they remove it, now it's not salient. Okay, now I'm paying for $20, and when I walk the dog, before they made the change, when I walk the dog, so I said, okay, let's disconnect the internet. I don't want to pay more because now I'm not using the internet. But now it doesn't matter. So I walk the dog, I keep my internet open, or I go to sleep, and maybe I'm a gamer. Okay, so I'm keeping it open. Maybe I will join a battle afterwards. I don't know. Okay, so it doesn't matter for me. Okay, so they fail.
Like everyone does unlimited.
Yeah, we're talking about 1996. 30 years ago. Okay, but yeah, now
Now this is how the companies do make more money when they present it as unlimited, but they expect you to not just overspend anyways what you were.
Yeah.
Like, the
Like-
consumption.
Like cell phones, right? 20 years ago, we paid for air, like זמן אוויר, airtime. But now, okay, or paid for SMS, right?
Because now we have better infrastructure. It
Yeah,
was
better
technology. It happened with
Yeah.
that.
1996.
But not profitable. Like they spend way more money on the infrastructure than than what they make from any subscription because it's incredibly expensive and because it's free for us, we would generate any image like my dog eating ice cream. I don't have a dog, but like, we don't think about it
Mhm.
because it's free.
Okay, but exactly, think about it like 30 years ago, like the mindset of 30 years ago, new technology, less good infrastructures, okay, but now we don't work this way. Want to say something?
I wanted to ask if it was across the board the change, both for the ones that before consumed like very little and the ones that exceeded.
Yeah, so of course, if you were here, in general speaking, yeah, I guess that some people didn't want to move from here to here, okay? But generally, yeah, okay, of course, this change was very easy to make for consumers. This also, and yeah, a lot of people moved from here to here.
But in reality, they paid the same, right? Because they never charged, they never paid extra and the price remained the same, but they still.
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
still
because
consume more.
you leave it up like electricity. Okay, so sometimes I go, I leave it open, I don't feel it. Okay, we go to Friday dinner, Shabbat dinner. Okay, so we leave a light, small light, and okay, but still we're paying for it.
Yeah, but
We
you
don't
will
feel
not-
it, but we're paying for it.
You will not leave the boiler because the light is very cheap, but the dude is very expensive. So that you will turn on.
Yeah.
The dude is actually, the dude's actually.
So it's not that maybe it's miss.
Is it for the?
Yeah.
the-
Mental accounting.
For the air
I'm
conditioning.
surprised at how cheap it is.
Yeah, it's
For
also.
the air conditioning,
It's
something like that.
This is a great example of mental accounting. So the air conditioner does consume more electricity and results in higher payment. Yeah, but the dude is a great example because we perceive it as more expensive.
I don't know how much it costs. I don't know. Either way.
Like the hotels and bars, when they are small, but also the
Yeah. What? I thought that you wanted to say that at the hotel, hey, the water are free, the electricity is free, the AC is free, and even more so when we travel abroad, right? Taking a shower. How long on average you take a shower here at your home?
Every day, what you.
No, like not once a week. Me. Okay, no, in terms of time, like 10 minutes,
It depends.
5 minutes,
We need
15.
more shower.
Okay,
It's a complicated answer.
Okay. 10 minutes, let's say, on average. Okay, now you went to vacation here in Israel. Does it affect? Okay, now you go on vacation abroad. It's not from the Kinneret. Okay, there's the waters. Okay, so
We keep
mental
the water
accounting.
open.
Okay, mental accounting. Okay, we can explain it also.
It's like in hotel.
Behavioral economics.
I also feel like
go and you're like,
it's a bit
when
of
on
vacation you don't use.
What, sorry?
If you pay for $20 for the internet
Mhm.
and you only use that, how much was the previous $20 was worth the?
$3 an hour.
No, but $20 was for how much?
20 hours.
20 hours.
Yeah.
If you only use it 20 hours, it's like you're wasting the cost of like and the potential cost of opportunity of not using all the free or the freeness. So you have to like dejar eso.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like an,
Okay.
liters.
And again, it's you want to justify this transaction utility, like Ruti said before, right? Yeah, because if otherwise, why am I paying? Right? If I don't have the free internet, or if I don't use it, I have free internet, but I don't use it. Okay, so what am I? I'm not a good businessman. Okay, I'm losing you. Okay. So what are more contemporary means, methods of payment that might influence the pain of paying today? We already discussed some. Okay. Any ideas?
Paying with the phone.
Paying with the phone, great. Apple Pay, Google Wallet, stuff like that.
Paying in advance.
Paying in advance.
Pay before, then pay.
Gives the offer.
It's like, I thought about hotels, something like that. You pay before about for the entire room and then you could use whatever you want as much as you want and you don't feel like you feel like you're gaining maybe even something when you leave the AC open and you go to the beach.
Yeah.
You have all the websites that compare prices, so I think that's also.
We leave.
Like you feel you get the best deal and you see if you choose the lowest price and then you feel good about what you buy.
Okay, so this is a great way to increase your transaction utility, but if you're talking about like pain of paying, how does it affect pain of paying?
Also, you feel like it's not as expensive because you see the reference point changes.
Great, so great way to use the reference point.
Also,
Okay.
I feel like maybe buy me and all those gift cards. Like for example, I would never buy a pair of boots for 700 shekels, but then I got like, okay, it's for my buy me. No,
Great,
I didn't say from it for my.
exactly. It's not real money, it's not my salary. It's a different account. Great, mental accounting. Great, okay. This is again also mental accounting and how the payment method affects the way we consume, the source of the money. Okay, even if it's from my like my job, my company, they bought me that. Okay, so even more so. If I hate my job, so even more so, right? I need to justify that now I'm going to pay for expensive goods, which I won't do for my own salary.
Also, I think there's an example in gaming where you need to buy game currency in advance and they give you like bundles. So you don't just buy like, I don't know, 100 coins, you need to buy like a bundle of 100, a 200, and then like both decoupling and also then you have like, I already paid, so I will use more on gaming stuff.
Good. Okay. Great example.
I think a very classic example is like when you gamble, around it, like with poker chips, because like you don't feel like you're actually betting money. You're just betting chips.
Right. The first thing we do when we enter a casino, okay, or drinking something and preparing to lose money, okay, they trade your money with chips, okay, with this kind of coins, okay. So maybe we didn't think about it before, okay, haven't thought about it before, but it's also a way for them to try to diminish this tangibility of money. Okay, well, I'm playing for plastic chips. I'm not playing for my real money. Okay, so we said, okay, Apple Pay, Google Wallet, PayPal, Bit, Paybox. Now, Bit did
They
few
save your
weeks ago. Yeah, they save your money. You can get some interest, but then when you need to pay something, they ask you, do you want it from your credit card or from your So of course from a Bit account because it's not real money. It even didn't enter my bank account, right? So it's basically money that it's like ma'am. Okay, bless you. I'm transferring it from someone else to someone else.
And they also take very speed every time we put it back to your account. So you feel like, wow, what is that? Done in money?
Yeah, it's like another paycheck. Okay. Actually, so well, let's see it and then I'll tell you something. Okay, let's see this video.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome.
They just don't know their stores.
Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So how does it work? We use computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no check. No, seriously.
Okay.
So, a few comments.
Yeah.
This could only work. First of all, I said they closed all their stores. They proved I don't remember why, but I guess the business model didn't work or something. This would only work in a high trust society. It wouldn't work in a low trust society where everybody feels, oh, this is a store, but I can just take whatever I want and walk out. Also, the technology, I'm sure it was comprehensive, but I remember reading an article that it relied on like 1,000 outsourced workers in India, like watching the cameras and like being like the deep learning algorithm that somehow knows what you took. It was basically like workers in India just looking from the camera and seeing what you took.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it was as advanced as they claimed it was.
So it's not my place to criticize the technology because I really don't understand that much in that technology. But if this is the case, so it's quite embarrassing. And I agree. Okay, must have trust in order for that kind of store to work. But again, think about it in terms of the topic of our class, mental accounting, the pain of payment. It's so easy to enter. I don't even need my wallet. I don't need anything. I just go there. I don't even need my phone. Okay, I grab something and automatically going to send the receipts to my mail. Okay, so you might think, oh, what a great technology and how convenient it is. But at the end of the day, it's another way for them to reduce the pain of payment and for us to consume more. Now, why did I laugh a bit before I played it? So, like both Yoav and Shimshon said, they closed like almost all of their stores 2 weeks ago, something like that. Now, during our class, we already have some, at least 3 occasions in which I wanted to show you something, and then suddenly something happened in media related to that. So it was supposed to be last week, mental accounting, and then again, few days before that or something like that, I just saw that they closed the stores. Okay, so amazing timing, but it's still relevant. Okay, for the concept of pain of payment. When we talked about availability heuristic, I gave the example of what's more likely, getting a shark attack or falling metal pieces from airplanes from the sky. At the same Friday, there was this incident in the Shomron where the helicopter, the military helicopter crashed. Okay, so I almost like called them and say, okay, it's on me. And last week we talked about Novak Djokovic, and he won senior. He's already 38 years old. He won the number 2. Okay, one of the biggest competitive players in tennis, and then advanced to the final of the Australian Open. So I also almost texted him and said, you must come to class. Okay, so, and there was another incident, again, that's amazing timing. Yeah. Okay, 5 more minutes and then you'll go for your break, because again, I want you to have the full experience there. But the last concept, okay, the denomination effect, very similar to what we talked about now with the chips, okay? Let's say the casino chip. Let's say that these 3 individuals enter to a convenience store. One have $5 bill. This one have $5 of one worth $1. sorry, you understand me, 5 bills, and this individual have 5 coins. Okay, all worth the same in terms of monetary value. Which is more likely to spend the entire amount?
The coins.
We don't have a
The
dollar.
black,
The $5.
$5?
$5.
Who thinks the $5? Who thinks the blue and the green? The green? Okay, always be special, it's good. Okay, but according to the denomination effect, the blue individual. Okay, when we are less likely to spend large bills because we feel we assign more value to these bills, even though they both, bless you, the same. Okay, and also in terms of mental accounting, it feels like we are breaking a mental account. Okay, we had this big bill, now we're going to break it, and once we broke it, now it's easier to spend money freely. Okay, we are more likely to spend coins and small bills and stuff like that rather than big bills. Okay, the denomination effect. Yes, sorry.
Just, my thought was, he's more likely, the first one, more likely to spend it all because he doesn't wanna get stuck with change, so he'll just spend it.
Yeah.
Unlike the other ones that already have change, so they can just use whatever they need.
Yeah, so once you broke it, then it's more likely that you'll go all the way. Yeah, like initially, if this is your budget, so they are more likely to, this guy is more likely than this. Because you don't want to break it.
We have a bag at home sitting next to the door, the bane of my existence. It's got about 700 shekels of 10 gold coins in it. I counted it during COVID because there was nothing better to do. But at the time it was like, yeah, but like, let's just use it freely. But then when you realize it's 700 shekels, you're like, I don't want to spend 700 shekels.
Yeah, still it's easier for you to spend that than 700 shekels in 100 bills. Yeah. By the way, where do you live? Okay, it's too far for 700 shekels. Okay, so how can we make better financial decisions according to what we studied here?
Paying cash.
Okay, let's think about several strategies. Any ideas? Paying with cash. Okay, 2, why? Because. Great. Okay. You increase your pay.
Create an Excel spreadsheet of all the costs, and then like you literally see everything you're spending.
Okay, so.
But it's not in front of your eyes all the time.
Okay, so information, this kind of budgeting, okay, it can help. It doesn't fit everyone, okay, both like technology wise, maybe some people don't like to or don't know how to do this kind of stuff, but even if they do, so it can be a bit inconvenient. But of course, when you know better your expenses compared to your income, so it's supposed to help you manage your finance better. So it can be a good strategy as well.
Also take the end of the month, for example, how much did you spend on coffee, for example, because in daily life you don't feel it, but it's not but eventually in the end of the month, for example, you pay, I don't know, 400 or 300 shekels each day during the month, you understand that coffee can't cost 300 shekels and you should do something with it. Or if it's not bothering you, just to leave it and to know that you buy this amount.
So if you know it and you're good with that, you're either very rich or there is a certain problem with that, maybe. Okay.
During a month, you don't feel it like something significant, but in the end, when you count everything,
yeah,
like 15 shekels, 13 shekels,
it accumulates to a big amount. Yeah.
Should you continue or not?
Yeah. Hopefully, when you see, okay, I spent 1,000 shekels on coffee for the entire month, maybe I should reduce it a bit. So hopefully, it will trigger certain action. But not necessarily. It can be a good tool if you have, your self-discipline and you realize that it's too much. But I doubt if people really do that. And
machines then, and to understand that this.
Let me tell you a story about that. Okay, one of my former friends. Okay, he is like that. He's buying coffee like. 3, 4, 5 times a day is buying coffee outside, and he had some financial issues. So I sat with him. It was 2 or 3 years ago, and we looked at his expenses, and I told him, look, you're like a coffee junkie. Come on, you can drink coffee, but in that kind of amount, buy a coffee machine. And he likes coffee, and so you can make a good experience out of it. So you go in the morning, you go to the kitchen, you prepare it, and you enjoy it. You get you increase your transaction utility. Okay, so I had everything in mind in terms of you know, the psychological side of money. Okay, so we bought it, and now he continues buying outside. So he makes the first coffee at home, but then he still buys 3, 4, 5 more cup of coffees during the day. Okay, that
It's like with spreadsheets, so making things visible. It's like adding more friction. So now I need to create, maintain, and also we would like someone who already has a problem, they would avoid looking at the spreadsheet. Like with the Doodh, I have a summary of my Doodh Chacham. I don't want to know how much I spend on Doodh. I want to have what water, so I never look at it if I have it. So it's like the pain is there, but I still avoid like coming to terms with like any pain.
Exactly.
So like having just a hard limit like would just artificially stop me. So I think that would be more beneficial, like having a card, like a debit card with or like dual card with the limits.
Yeah. So I agree that people try to avoid not only this kind of financial decisions or managing our expenses. People try to avoid things that they don't want to deal with. Okay, I don't understand how to invest, so I'm not going to invest. I don't understand how I can improve my balance, so I'm not going to cut my expenses. I'm not even going to read or to look at my expenses or even create this kind of Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so I definitely agree with you on that. Okay, so I do have some strategies that I want to show you, but I also want to go the next forward way. Okay, so we'll come back in 20 minutes, and then okay, 9, 25, 27, and then we'll continue. We'll finish this talk. So,
The same thing in my life. For
אני חושב שזה עניין של עניין שאם רגע אנחנו מודעים לזה, זה להגיד פעם הבאה שתקבלי את ה-120 שקל האלה, רגע שנייה, כסף שזה עבודה, כן עבדתי פה, יכול להיות שיש לי שימוש יותר טוב כאילו, זה לא צריך להשפיע, זה שכאילו הרגשתי כאילו לא כסף שלי.
זה כי פשוט זה בא לי בהפתעה, לא תכננתי לסיים את היום.
זה סיסטם וואן שלך פה, טוב, יאללה, let's continue. Okay. So, was it a good strategic decision? Yeah, you managed to go there together before the MBA students?
Yeah.
Okay.
We finished all the breakfast. We finished all the breakfast. No breakfast for them.
Great, this was the purpose. Okay, so again, a few minutes to finalize this topic, and then we continue to intertemporal choice. So we already asked how we can make better financial decisions. You had great suggestions. If we follow the specific material that we cover in this topic, under this topic of mental accounting, so the first thing we can do is reintroduce the pain. Okay. not only in this kind of situations, in general behavioral economics, one of the main things of nudge theory is to try to simplify our decisions, okay? Try to make the outcome very salient, try to make it effortlessly, okay, and encourage people to a certain direction. But sometimes it's better to add friction, okay? It's the difference between what Cass Sunstein called it. We have nudge, but he also called it sludge, okay? Like nudge, we want to make things easier, simpler, but sometimes we also want to add friction to avoid undesired outcome. Okay, so someone already said it regarding cash. Okay, let's say I'm going out with friends or dining out or shopping or whatever. If I decide paying with cash, according to the theory, supposed to create a more strict constraint on how I spend my money. And then I won't find myself supposedly buying a lot of things that I don't need. Okay. Another example of adding friction. Okay, you know when we already talked about it a bit with payment through the phone. Okay, but you know when you go on I don't know, Amazon or buying something online, and then they ask you, do you want us to keep your credit card details? And you say, how kind are they, huh? Because now next time I don't need to go to my card, they're actually helping me, right? So obviously they are not trying to help you, they are trying to help themselves. So then next time when you enter the same website or the same app, this autofill credit card method will reduce the friction and then will encourage you to spend more. Okay, and this 30 seconds delay, once we need to enter our credit card details, allows, okay, if we again follow the material from what we learned during our classes, okay, it basically allows system 2 to kick in and ask, wait a minute, do I really need this? Okay, am I just buying because there is not too much friction, or I'm bored, or whatever, or do I really need this product? Okay, but for me, again, I don't have my credit card on my phone, but also in all these kind of autofill credit cards, when they ask me, I always say no. Okay, because again, I think it's a good method, and I don't want in this kind of situation, me personally, to reduce the friction. Okay, so
your wife as well.
What?
And your wife is well.
Good question. But you can do whatever. Okay, so this is one example, one strategy of how we can make better financial decisions. Okay, reintroducing the pain. All these, okay, being aware to all these marketeers' tricks. Okay, no tricks and no shticks. Okay, all these kind of traps, buy 2 get 1 for free. It's not 80, it's not 100 no more. Now it's 80. Okay, all these kind of methods are trying to work on our transaction utility, increase our transaction utility, and to create sometimes artificial reference points.
But sometimes you actually need it, right? Like shampoo or
Great.
Stuff in the supermarket.
Great. So what I'm not against sales, and I'm not against free products. Okay, but you should ask yourself, would I buy this product if the price was regular? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, you're probably buying the deal and not the product itself. Okay, so what you should do, for example, if you are buying on Amazon or AliExpress it's a great example, because each and every month they have these coupons and sales at the beginning of each month. Okay, so if you already know that you need a certain product, keep it on your cart, and then when they offer you a certain sale, buy it. Of course, if it's not an emergency case or whatever, okay, that you need something right here, right now. But basically, you know what you need, so use the sales of these coupons to what you need. Don't buy things because they are on sale. Okay, this is the difference here. Okay, so be aware of these kind of marketing methods, And the third thing to remember is that there are no free meals. Okay, the house always wins. Okay, this is an example. It's in Hebrew. Okay, but this company. Okay, I hope no one works there. Okay, but this company. Okay, you can see an example of how they marketed their goods or their images, photos, or whatever they are selling on Black Friday, but the same company with the same prices, not on Black Friday. Okay, 10 for 320, 10 for 12. Okay, 12 for 400, 12 for 400, same prices. Okay, it doesn't happen all the time, but more often than we might consider. Okay, these kind of exclusive deals and pricing, we will also have it later in the season. Okay, but they are marketing it. Sometimes they are increasing the prices before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all these kind of deals, and then they show you this big discount. Again, referring to our material, don't let the scarcity heuristic rush you. And always try to look at the bigger picture. Okay, if you feel that you screwed the company, it is more likely that they got the upper hand somewhere else. Okay, all this kind of I'm buying a cheap printer, so they're getting their money on the ink. Cheap razor, they're making their money on the blades or on the data that they are collecting on. Okay, so again, I'm not saying don't buy anything and do nothing or whatever. Just try to be smarter and buy what you really need. Try to use it. Okay, you know that they are going to offer a certain sale, so wait with the goods that you want to buy and then use it for the good, for your benefit and not for the company's benefit. Okay, so these are three strategies built on the stuff that we covered not only in this mental accounting class, but also in previous classes. By the way, this can be a great question for the exam. Okay, not necessarily, I'm not necessarily mean that this is what you're going to do or have on your exam, but basically I can ask you based on the material that we cover in the open question, okay, the third part, based on the material we cover during our classes, use the terminology of our, again, the behavioral principles and concepts and stuff like that, and present two methods that we, by which we can make a better financial decision. Okay, in general. Okay, I'll show you some more examples at the end of class, but this can be a certain question, or this at least again the type of questions in the open-ended question part. Okay, now if you don't believe Thaler or don't believe me, believe this guy. Okay, the great Warren Buffett. He says that price is what you pay, value is what you get, obviously referring to stocks, but it also, we can apply it also here. Okay, so if you're talking too much about what you paid, okay, it's not the value. Well, how much you paid, it's not the value that you get. Okay, how much you pay refer to your price. But if you're trying to get a certain price, it's also not good because you don't go home with the price. You go home with the value of the product, of the goods that you want to consume. Okay, so you can take it also from the stock market to here as well. Questions? Okay, so we are continuing to our fifth big topic, intertemporal choice. Basically, what we have is a bit of theory, okay, presenting you how this specific domain of time discounting or intertemporal choice, and then a few examples of behavioral biases that relate to time. Okay, so first let me ask you, what would you rather? Get an extra day off from work next month, or get a cash bonus of 1,200 shekels? What would you choose?
Depends.
Cash bonus.
Cash bonus. Cash day off.
Maybe your day off is more than a month.
Yeah, so this is pretty much like a 1 day of average salary in a high-tech company. Okay, if you're here, so I guess you can afford this amount. So, but this is pretty much like the worth of the value, the monetary value of 1 day in this kind of average job. Okay, so what 50-50? Who says day off?
Both.
Who says money? Okay, so more than 50-50. Make election day a federal holiday. It's not exactly a holiday, but now also it's a day off, okay? Or instead of a day off, you go to vote, but you also get, whoever votes gets a tax point credit for voting. What would you rather?
How much is the credit?
A. Okay, A. B.
B is a bad idea because more stupid people vote.
This is where we live. Okay, so 50-50?
How much money do you get?
לכל השנה, כאילו,
נקודת זיכוי, כן.
ורק 1,000 שקל לשנה. כל החודש.
1,000 שקל?
לדעתי 4.
Okay, next one, and this one is a tricky one, okay?
לא.
Get one class off of this course.
No.
No, of course not. Or get a 5-point bonus of your 5B?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay, so all these kind of trade-offs are between money, time, and money. Tangible assets, mainly money and time. Okay, now even though time is money, but it's also the most important or the most valuable assets resource that we have, because it's the only one that is non-renewable. Right, money, okay, we can lose. Nobody like to lose money, but we can restore it. Energy, effort, assets, these kind of resources that we have, we can restore. It can be more difficult, it can be a bit complex, but we can restore them. Time is the only resource that we can't restore. But still, people are willing to trade time with other tangible assets. This kind of concept, or the way that time affects human behavior, it's not something new in behavioral economics. Okay, it's been like that for a century, a struggle for human beings. Okay, this Greek philosopher said time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. Okay, already many years ago. So again, it's not a current struggle. Who said that? You may delay, but time will not. Are you familiar with that? No sports here. They already a disclaimer, no sports in this part. Benjamin Franklin, okay? I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Einstein, okay? How did it get so late so soon?
Us every day.
Me?
Dr. Seuss. Okay, and this one?
Lincoln Park.
Nice. Okay, Lincoln Park in the end. Okay, so we see a lot of domains. Okay, and again, for many centuries, time has occupied the minds of human beings and how the way we treat time and how it affects us. But again, even if we acknowledge the value of time and we understand it's the only non-renewable resource that we have, still, at the end of the day, when money arrives, okay, our behavior often contradicts this understanding that it's the only non-renewable or maybe the most valuable resource that we have. Not maybe, okay, it's maybe individual, but the fact is that it's the only one that we can restore. Okay, so these kind of examples can show us how we contradict this notion, okay, of the importance of time. Do you own a gym membership and you don't use it? Okay. Having a saving plan but constantly dipping into it, okay, because we discount the future and we want to consume right now. Okay. I'm sure that everyone woke up today especially today and Friday, coming happy to campus, okay, and nobody clicked on snooze, right? You just woke up immediately and you went out of bed and you came here. Okay, so also delay the way we delay time, okay? Delaying a diet to eat one last piece of cake, okay? Very familiar. Browsing or watching Netflix instead of studying for the exam. It's also a kind of nudge for you to understand that the exam is ending. Okay. If someone smokes or eats unhealthy food, okay, it's counting the consequences in the future and the risks. Okay. Delay paper submissions for the last minute. All these kind of behaviors, bless you, are of course very common, not only for ourselves, but for humankind, human nature. So why do we do this? Why we acknowledge the value of time, but still, at the end of the day, bottom line, our behavior contradicts it. And it always seems like the future self is better, the future self is more disciplined, the future self will diet, the future self will exercise, but now, current self wants to watch Netflix or wants
I feel like it's cheating.
at the kids.
You're telling yourself, okay, next week I will study. But right now,
So why? Cheating? Also?
you don't want to do it now, and you need to compensate that discomfort in your mind. Talk about this in social technology. So you say, okay, I'm sure like next Monday I will take a day off from work and I will study.
Okay.
You have to look at it, guys. I can imagine what I have right now.
Okay.
Also, mine is more tangible.
Money is more tangible, right? Okay. Also, like relating to mental accounting a bit. Okay, I can see money, I can see time. Okay. So
Sometimes it can also make sense, like I'm planning my time ahead, and I know that, like, we still have 2 weeks till the exam, so this week it shouldn't be good for me to study, but it could be good for me to keep, make a lot of things in the work, and.
yeah, so I'm not a machine.
Time, I'm not pushing it.
Yeah, I need to allocate my resources in a reasonable way, right?
Who knows what the future will bring? Like anything could happen. I know that what I can do now with my time. I want to do it now.
Right, I'm living now at present. I'm not living in the future. Right, well, I can consume something now. I'm going to consume it now.
To expect more of yourself. Because people don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more in shape. I'm going to have my knowledge that now I'm studying in the degree, so I'll be better in my thesis back in the future. I don't need to think about my research question now, right? I still don't hold the knowledge. Okay, great. No expectations. Okay, so we can think of many examples, and the examples that you suggested are great. Okay, impulsivity. Okay, we are kind of wired. So if we refer to the marshmallow experiment. Okay, so from young age, it's difficult for us to delay gratification. Okay, even in terms of like evolutionary roots, right? Many years ago, okay, we had to consume now in order to survive. Okay, so maybe we're still animals. We still have this kind of behavioral tendencies. Trust, okay? I think someone said you refer to it in a certain way, okay? If I know I can consume now, okay, how can I know if someone tells me, yeah, if you'll wait, I'll give you this extra marshmallow in 15 minutes. Do I know you? If you give me something now, I'll take it now. Okay, so trust is a big thing, and also you have mentioned trust in. This is why I looked over here. You mentioned trust in the Amazon Go commercial, but it also relates to here. Okay, lack of self-control. If we refer to our material, the certainty effect. Okay, we value certain outcomes right now. Who knows what the future holds? And we see, according to our behavior, not only ours, but society at large, okay, that we value the present more than we value the future. And I want to ask you, is it irrational?
That the lack of self-control isn't like part of impulsivity.
It's an outcome of impulsivity. Yeah, I can still be impulsive, like, rust in a minute and that, but I can still like even handle myself. If I know that I'm
No, that's contradictory. If you have an impulse.
no, like my first reaction is impulsivity. Okay, it doesn't mean I need to go all the way and I don't know, eat all the cakes that I have at home, or I'm not going to study at all. So I can deal with it in like a while, or maybe for some people it can be a few seconds or a few minutes, but then I can restore myself and come back to my regular self, so-called. Okay?
I wanted to answer, like, I
Yeah,
think
like you said.
it should be balanced
Mhm.
because it's not that it's irrational. It's rational to prefer the present or the future, but like it should be balanced because otherwise we can't know what's gonna happen in the future. So if we live only in the present, then we'll end up like poor and without a rooftop in a few months. But I don't know, like it's an extreme example. But if we also live in the future, we might die tomorrow, and then we'll just wasted all of our.
Exactly. We can't put all our weight on the future because we live here and now. But if we want to be successful or have a house even in the future, we do need to think about it now, right? So we need to balance it. And actually, according to the standard economic model, they also acknowledge the fact that people value the present more than the future. Okay, so it's not something. If I'm valuing the present more than I'm valuing the future, it doesn't mean that I'm irrational, but the standard economic model suggested that we are doing it in a constant rate. What does it mean? It means that if I'm here, we have an exponential discounting curve, okay? It means that if I'm willing to delay something in 6 months, okay, so I'm willing to get this 50% discount, okay, of time. But also in myself in the future, okay, if I'm this is like, let's say this is in I don't know, in 1 week. Someone tells me, okay, do you want something right now, or are you willing to delay it in 6 months? I say, okay, I'm willing to delay it in 6 months if I'm getting this 50% discount. Okay, but also if someone suggests me the same deal a year from now, I will still manage and reserve this 50% discount. Okay, this is what it means.
I don't understand. The curve is going down, like you will be less happy.
It's not about happy or not happy, it's how much I'm willing to discount the future. Okay, להזניח את העתיד, comparing to consume now. Okay, so according to the standard model, we are discounting the future in a constant rate. Okay, it doesn't matter if you say 6 months now or 6 months in 3 years or whatever. For me, the discount I'm willing to put on the future, to assign to the future, is 50%. Okay, the utility here drops smoothly from 100. Let's say we are discounting next week by 10%, and the next week again it will be 10%, and the next week again 10%. It's always constant. Always, if for me my subjective discount factor is 10%, it's going to be in the constant rate.
It depends on the preferences of the consumer, right? Like this is not a number that you got from
exactly. Yes,
that's just an example.
Yeah, the main idea here is that we are delaying it at a constant rate. Which rate? Depending on our preferences. There is no such a magic number. Okay, some people value the future more, some people value the future less. But the idea is that we are valuing or discounting the future at a constant rate. Doesn't matter if we're talking about here and now, 1 week from now, a year from now, always a constant rate. Okay, this is at least yeah. Okay, this is at least how we perceive time according to the standard economic model. Okay? Not what happens?
I also don't feel it.
Okay.
I don't identify.
Okay, so basically what it means for them, okay, for the standard, according to the standard economic model, is that the future self will always be the current self, but with just a simple interest adjustment. Okay, and this interest adjustment is constant. Okay, for me it can be 50%, from other people it can be 10%. It doesn't matter, but it's always constant. Now let's see this example. Let's say I ask you, what would you rather? I'll give you $100 today or $110 next week in our class. What would you rather?
100.
The second? Who prefers 100 today?
I guess it depends how much you need the money.
And
No, it depends, $10 is not enough
Yeah.
to
But it's
delay,
10%.
to delay.
so you want it now?
If it was 200 or something like that, maybe it's worth delaying, but.
Depends how badly I need the $100.
Okay, so great.
If I need it
Also
today, I need it today. In a week, I'm okay.
And also, next class you might say, right, and I might be sure about it, but next class you'll be like, Ryan, I don't wanna give it to you.
Yeah, you shouldn't trust me.
No, let's say it's your dad, like for sure, it's gonna give it to you.
So your dad's
How
gonna
can you be so sure?
Okay, so of course you're already incorporating some other factors, which is great. How much I need the money, okay? Who gives me the money? Okay, trust, great. But under the standard economic model, okay, it depends on how you value or devalue time. Okay, so some people might say, okay, I need it right now. I don't care about the future. It's okay. I want 100 now. Some might delay and get it in 1 week, get an extra 10%. Okay. In scenario 2, I'm suggesting the same deal, but now you're getting the $100 in 52 weeks or 110 in 53 weeks. What would you rather now? 53? Someone wants it in 152 weeks?
Yes,
Yeah.
I already waited 52.
Okay, so you don't want to wait another extra week?
No, it sounds like a lot.
But actually,
52.
here, they're more like 52 weeks is a long time to save $100. So it's just the 10 extras are actually very profitable for you.
No.
Yeah, so you
Less.
waited 52 weeks and then for $100. So if you divide it,
No, I don't think that's the right math. The right math is today 100, and you wait 7 days to get $10 more, or you wait 52 weeks to get 100.
No.
53 divided 110.
You would either need to choose this one, 100 today or 110 next week, or you have this one, like separately, okay? 100 in 52 weeks and 110 in 53 weeks. Okay, let's say I'm
Yes,
asking.
but like the rate is better in the first scenario. Like in the first scenario, it's more worth waiting.
but you don't choose between the scenarios.
No, that's why. I'm explaining why I changed my choice.
Okay, so basically what we have here in both cases, the time difference is identical, right? 1 week. The monetary difference is identical, $10. Okay, so if we are consistent, we shouldn't flip our preferences. Whoever prefers getting this $100 today should prefer $100 in 52 weeks. Whoever chooses to delay to get an extra $10 should choose this as well, 53 weeks. But what we see in this kind of experiments, inconsistent preferences. Okay, most people choose 100 today, and in this scenario, choose 110 in 53 weeks. Okay, makes sense? Makes sense, but it's a violation of time consistency. Okay, so we see, and now maybe it will be clearer, okay, that we don't discount time in a constant rate. Okay, because here we discount it in a certain way, but here we're discounting it a different way. Okay, so this is the idea. Now,
So the model is not correct.
the standard economic model, no. Okay, unless you are very rational, okay, and you say according to again to this model, this is what you should choose, this and this, or this and this. In practice, more often than not, we see this preferences sheet. Okay, so the model is correct in terms they understand, they acknowledge that people prefer the present over the future, but not in a constant way. This is like the issue with the classic model. Okay, so now leave the model aside. Okay, people change. Okay, we grow, we develop. Okay, we even as society we encourage people to be flexible, right? To don't be stubborn and be flexible and maybe change your mind. Okay, this is also why we sometimes change career, we change relationships. Okay, we change our preferences in terms of what we like to watch or what we like to do or how we like to exercise or what food we like to eat. Right? So why is it a problem that we are inconsistent? If at all, maybe it's not a problem. How?
We make decisions as we picture ourselves, but then the moment comes and we're not that person. Or maybe we made the decision, we feel that the future will look in a certain way, and then future comes and it doesn't look like this, so we regret the decisions we made.
Back then, like the initial decision, and now I need to adapt. Okay.
I think it also doesn't allow us to leverage.
What do you mean by that?
Because if we have, let's say we build a career in one thing and then we decide to go and do something completely different, then yeah, there are some things you can take on to the next career, but you're essentially starting from scratch again. And that probably means lowering your salary because you're starting, like, say I'm a teacher and then I decide to be a programmer, I don't know. So I have 20 years of experience in education, but then when I go and be a programmer, I'm gonna start at the bottom again. Or the same thing in a relationship, you build this, if it's a healthy relationship, you build something over the course of time, you start again.
Okay.
Rebuild all of that trust.
But also in consumption, all the sales are like last minute sales. And it makes us like to delay stuff, and maybe it affects us as people that we delay other stuff because we get like bonuses of buying in late time.
Yeah, so it's like the egg and the chicken. Yeah, but maybe they know that we delay stuff, so they are targeting their sales to this specific period, and not the other way around. Maybe.
I think it really depends on the economic history you have. Like, let's say I'm Argentinian, I come from a country that there's a lot of inflation and the dollar price changes literally every minute of the day. So yes, when it comes to these topics, I come from a family that like really thinks through these processes and what's convenient and the exchange rate, and sometimes yes, we prefer the money now, but like I'm saying, like, and people that maybe come from countries that are more stable, they trust more the system and they trust more the future.
Great. So it definitely has a cultural factor in it. A few years ago, I was in Central America. Okay, and I had a friend there, an Italian friend, not someone from Central America, like a different mentality. European mentality, the Italian friend, and he worked there. And he was in charge of this all the activities of the hostel. Okay, and every morning, the Panamanians, those who ride the boats, like the speedboats, okay, came and negotiated the price. And I told him, look, why don't you, every morning you need to go over and over with that again. Then give them a certain price for the entire week or for the entire month, and maybe increase a little bit, and then you have your free mind. So he told me, look, it's not Israel, it's not Europe. For them, it doesn't matter. Sometimes he told them, look, I'll give you 100 today. And if you'll come tomorrow, I'll give you tomorrow, not in 1 week, I'll give you 1:10. No, tomorrow different rules. Okay, so he told me they don't perceive time, they want to consume here and now. Now, of course, I'm not projecting everything about Central America and Panama and so on, but it's a different concept of time. They need the money now. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's a different story.
Also, they are more poor. So like you said, like they need the
Yeah.
$100 maybe today.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's also like something, I'm not sure it's entirely connected to the direct conversation, but also the like, why is it, like I thought, why is it a problem? So also choosing, like making the, okay, so specifically thinking of the conversations we have at home, like my partner, he's a resident doctor and he's like 10 years in the academia. And he's now at this point, like he's very frustrated because he had a higher paying job in IT after the army than now, because being a resident doctor, it starts paying after like decades. You start getting tons of money, but you like it's paid so much, so you get like the prestigious job. You get all these benefits, but it takes so much time, and like it's such a significant delay that often people like it's not enough for them. So it's too much effort. You get it a lot later, but it's so much later. And like I wonder if those impacts people's willingness to take on this path.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, well, I guess when you are in this kind of situation, you consider several. If you were, if he was, Homo economicus, try to maximize his utility, so most probably he wouldn't go this path. But he has different kind of factors. Profession, the meaning of it, it's something that he likes, okay, and also he sees down the road a better financial situation, okay.
Also, there's the possibility, I think, that some people just cannot go, like they can't do it because they come from background that doesn't allow them to do that unless they got get interviewed that.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, my wife is also before her. Yeah, good luck to us with residency payment and lecturer payment.
Also, the problem is like.
If I'm not teaching you the thesis course, no, that's something good. No. What? Someone said something.
Yeah,
Yes, sorry.
like as economists, we need to have predictions about the future, what's
Yeah.
going to happen. I mean, people always change, and like, how can we make
It's
that?
difficult, right? Exactly. This is something that behavioral economics come and say. We need to implement, or we need to put this psychological principle in order for the economical models to have a better prediction power. Okay, great. Okay, so the problem is it's not like we need to remain consistent. It doesn't happen anyways, but it's not like we are encouraging consistency in every walk of life or in every decision. Okay, the idea here, why is it a problem? It's called dynamic inconsistency, okay, or time inconsistency. The problem is we can change over time, but not in a way, or we do it, but it's less optimal in that we change in a way that yields us less good outcomes. Okay, so if now I'm in a certain situation and I say, okay, I want to delay certain consumption to the future, or I want to have it right here, right now, if it's good for me, great. But the problem is that we don't delay eating a cake. We delay exercising. Okay, we don't delay studying we're not delaying our Netflix schedule. We're delaying our studying schedule. Okay, so when we delay, it's okay to change, but when we change in a way that flips the rewards, this is of course suboptimal. So basically we can see it, we see ourselves as like we have different selves. Okay, we have our future self, we have our current self. We can treat it as like the planner. Right here I'm doing, but in the future I'm planning. Or system 1, system 2, we can call it in a lot of ways, okay? But the problem is that these two selves are not aligned. Okay, today I want something, but tomorrow I want something else. Okay, and if this something else is better for me, great, but most likely, or not most likely, in many cases, it's not better for me. Okay, and then I'm consuming something immediately here and now because this is what I want, but I'm discounting the future, and it comes at the expense of the future. Okay, so dynamic inconsistency. In the morning, I'm someone else. I'm saying, okay, tonight I'm not going to eat cookies for sure. Today is the day, no matter what. Okay, it's easy for me because now both alternatives are in the future. Okay, my future self will have to deal with that. Okay, but at night, what happens? Cookies and cake, right? Because now the decision is immediate. Okay, now it's not my future self. It's not the planner. Now it's the doer. Okay, two different people.
But they can work together. Now, like you can.
I can tell myself, yeah, future self.
No, but you system you can hold system one.
Supposed to hold system one when we are about to make a not good decision or not misjudgment of the situation, or yeah. Well, but it doesn't always happen because otherwise we were making all the best decisions in the world and never making any misjudgments or mistakes.
Yeah.
But they can work, like I put it, yeah, they can work together. When you feel the need of having a cake, or now you don't want to go out and exercise, so you can say, like, system 2, come on, help me. I know this is what good for me. Okay, I will be sorry tomorrow, or even 5 minutes after I'm eating the cake. I know it's not good for me. Okay, let's be disciplined, but of course. דיבורים לחוד ומציאות לחוד, כן? Okay, but they can incorporate in a certain way. We need to be strong enough. We need to be able to delay this immediate gratification. Okay? So
We can also help our future selves. Like only buying healthy snacks for the evening and not.
Yeah, right.
And these kind of decisions. Today's decision is gonna help the future self.
Right. And this is also something that you're supposed to discuss on the later class of from theory to practice, okay, or this kind of application. But we're also going to address it a bit next week. But great, we have a lot of tools. In behavioral economics, we have a lot of tools that's supposed to encourage us to make better, exactly. So it can be in savings, it can be in our relationships, it can be in career paths or whatever, but can also be in these kind of situations.
I feel like this kind of technique that Michal mentioned is like when the consumer puts limits to himself. It's like, okay, I'm gonna study now for 2 hours and I'm gonna go to a library without my phone. I'm gonna leave the phone in my house, or I don't have it near me and I can study.
Yeah, this again, if we don't need these techniques in order to do what we need to do, good. If not, okay, so we can definitely use this kind of stuff. The problem is when we set this kind of techniques, but we don't follow it, or when we do follow it and then we feel the need to compensate. Okay, so I wanted to eat a cookie today. I was self-disciplined. I didn't eat. Tomorrow again, I was self-disciplined. But then on Sunday, I'm eating the entire. Exactly. Okay, so.
Deserve it because you prevented yourself from doing
this is another bias. Okay, this is another bias. Yeah, I feel like I deserve it.
You earned it.
Yeah, dissonance, cognitive, right? Cognitive dissonance. Yeah. Okay, this is a certain way for me to explain or save like my current self. Okay, no, I'm allowed to do it. Okay, I worked hard for it. Okay. Okay, so.
But then it's also good. It's a way to encourage yourself.
So there is a certain technique of like.
I'm very good. Like when I study, I give myself awards for later. Like if I'll now put 5 hours into studying, then in the evening I can, I don't know, do something that I wanted to do, or like give myself some sort of surprise in order to do what I need to do. There's other people that like give themselves punishments for studying. I know this specifically.
So there is a certain technique that relates to what you are suggesting. Okay, it's called temptation consolidation, okay, איחוד פיתויים. Okay, let's say I don't want to exercise, but I do like watching a certain show on Netflix. So I go to the gym, and then while I'm running, I'm watching the show. Okay, so it's not exactly the same, but it's a certain technique in which you can
compensate. I compensate on the running with watching something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then I come home, eat more cake, and watch another episode.
But great. I go to work on a coffee shop. Okay, I have to work, but if I sit in a nice coffee shop with a good coffee, like.
Yeah, this is why you can never walk in at McDonald's. Right? But so
McDonald's a commission.
it's the best. Okay? But okay, so what is our time curve? Okay, so we said we don't have exponential discounting. We don't have this kind of exponential discounting curve. What we do have is this hyperbolic discounting curve. Okay, what does it mean in plain English? Okay, it means that our discount rate decreases as the delay increases. Okay, so here, when I'm here and the reward is immediate, okay, now it's time for now, so now it's 0 time, now I'm going to consume this good, so I'm willing to discount the future. Okay, think about the discount rate is how much I devalue something. So here the discount is big, okay, you see it's steep. Okay, I'm moving from here to here because I want to get this reward. But in the future, okay, I'm very patient. I discount the future less, and I'm willing to get maybe wait a bit more in order to get the full $110. Okay, so this is the idea. Again, exponential discounting, or according to the standard economic model, we are discounting the future at a constant rate. Doesn't matter if we're assuming now, in a week, 10 years, 1 year, okay, a constant rate. But hyperbolic discounting, okay, we are incredibly impatient for now. We want to consume here and now, and we devalue the future.
This is a theory or what actually happens?
According to the theory, this is what really happens. This is a theory, the standard economic model. Okay, it's like Homo economicus and bounded rationality. Okay, so this is Homo economicus. Okay, it happens in a constant way, but we see that we are putting more weight to present consumption. Okay, and we have this kind of curve.
When you say we're discounting the future,
להזניח את העתיד. I want to save tomorrow, but I'm giving it less weight than consuming now because I value the present more, and I'm willing to devalue the future, discount the future.
And also through relationships. You know, when they're young, like they're young up. As we get older, okay, I've waited this far to find someone good, so I will wait. Okay.
So I think you can relate it to time, but obviously there are more factors we can consider. First, when we are young, we feel like we have a lot of time, we can take more risks, we have time to improve our decisions. Okay, and as we get older, so maybe we feel we don't have that much time, and the clock is ticking, and all these social factors that affect our decisions. But of course, there are also other stuff, sunk cost. We're going to talk about it. Okay, I've been in a relationship for 5 years, so what I'm going to leave now, and then what's going to happen? Now I need another 5 years until I will meet someone, and then we will meet the families, and so on, we'll move together. Okay, so I already have this cost. Okay, so definitely it's a byproduct of time, sunk cost. Okay, so there are many factors we can consider.
I have a question. How does an irreversible outcome impact our decision? For example, we touched about a little bit about it, like fertility-related choices. So you can do this decision, and there's like also discomfort, and a lot of prices like for having the decision today, but like you literally have, especially at the moment, you literally have a deadline. So how does that impact?
Time or in
Our-
general decision?
No,
Irreversibility.
specifically in intertemporal context decision.
So I think that for irreversible decisions or irreversible outcomes, first we might try to delay these decisions more. I don't want to face something that is certain, right? So if I need to here and now, I need to decide whether I'm ending this relationship or not. Okay, I want to get married or whatever. Okay, this kind of again social pressure factors that affect our relationship decisions. Okay, so I might say, okay, when I'll get to 35, when I'll be 35 years old, then I'll decide. But I don't want to be that constrained with myself. So maybe I will push it because it's irreversible. So I will push it to 37, to 40. Okay, so this might affect because it's so infinite. You can change it, of course, and play with that. But when you feel like it's an irreversible decision, okay,
Are irreversible.
yeah. So you might want to delay it as much as possible. But you can work out the other way around. Maybe someone will say, okay, I just want to get over that. I will make the decision now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so like everything in life, we have also our preferences that we need to consider. I would say my sense, at least, is that in general, we would want to delay irreversible decisions. Okay.
Yeah. We go back to that scenario of the 50, like the 1 week.
Mhm.
So it makes sense to me that if we're looking so far into the future, another week doesn't really matter. But if once you get to the 52 weeks, are you looking at it as in, I need to wait another week, like the first scenario? Or have you like committed to this scenario already 52 weeks ago, so that last
Exactly.
week is
So
not-
your reference point is not from 52 to 53. You made the
It's from
decision.
the year.
Exactly. So you also have your reference point here that affects the decision, and you also have the diminishing sensitivity because you already waited 52 weeks. So another week, it doesn't feel like a week. It feels a week from all the time that you've been waiting so far. So we treat it differently. This is why, again, here, okay, so here, I'm willing to wait. Here, when I'm here, and I want to make a future decision, so it doesn't matter 52, 53, okay, the change isn't big. But here, if I need to wait 1 week, okay, we see it's much simpler. This is the idea of the hyperbolic curve, okay, discounting curve. But here, it's constant. 1 week here, the same. Okay, this is the idea. Okay, now one of the things that one of the most maybe famous biases that in general in human behavior, behavioral economics, but it is also a result of this hyperbolic discounting curve, is present bias, which is the tendency to overweight immediate rewards at the expense of future outcomes or future consequences. Okay. Real life application for present bias when we overweight the outcomes of today at the expense of the outcomes of the future. Okay, so we talked a lot about it.
I'm not a good example, but like, you know, the scenario where you put your hand in a pocket and you find what shekels.
Which I know.
But you know, when it happened, it's like, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, but you didn't take these 20 shekels and hid it somewhere and say,
should we?
Okay, sure. It's not this like what you're talking about is more about relates to the mental accounting, but like the immediate or surprising amount of money, okay, a bigger joy because we weren't expecting to have it, okay, but consumption wise, okay, or we relate to present bias here. If you had these 20 shekels, you are more likely, according to present bias, to consume them now, to do with them something now. We won't put it in your pocket or save it somewhere, okay, and say, okay, let's see what happened, okay, because you rather immediate rewards. Even if you'll find, let's say you find it, okay, in your pocket and you're very happy, then you have 20 shekels. What you're going to do? Save them or buy ice cream?
I will always buy ice cream.
Pension.
Maybe like I want, like it's winter now and I want the carpet in my living room. There's not the carpet I want, or I know it's gonna be in discount in like 2 months, but in 2 months I think like it's gonna be warmer, so I'm still gonna buy the more expensive carpet. Actually, I didn't. I waited for the.
I understand it's a very real life application.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So you should have delayed maybe the purchase, but you bought it now because you wanted like the immediate.
Actually, I did, and it was very good.
Okay. So maybe it's a violation of the present bias. So
but I was in a very big dilemma about whether buying the car.
Okay. So great. So you had this psychological power of present bias, like working on you. So and you were able to still delay it. Great.
It's a good example, but
Thanks to the course, of course.
but like I know I'm not using my TV services, but still I'm too lazy to pick up the phone and call Cellcom and ask them to change my plans.
Okay, yeah. So this is again maybe a byproduct, maybe sunk cost or status quo bias. Okay, I prefer. Maybe I will need it. Maybe next week I want to watch TV or whatever. Okay, so it definitely is affected by time. Not necessarily present bias because you're not consuming. You're not
I'm consuming the time that I don't spend on calling them.
Yeah. Okay.
The mandatory of pension.
Okay. We would have wanted to consume it now.
Yes, but the government.
So maybe it's a certain tool for the government to try to help us save tomorrow and not consume our money now. We can of course argue on that, but yeah, okay. It's if we frame it like that, it looks like a very good saving tool.
Yes, also part of the reason they changed the law. That you
Yeah.
cannot take the entire pension when you retire, but you have to get it with allowance every month because people just consume everything.
Also, when you win the lottery, of course,
Yeah,
everybody
you have an option to
have
take
this
it as
experience.
allowance.
Exactly, as allowance, but the full price as allowance or half today.
You forgot that. Then you understand that you have to bring a present and you know exactly what to bring and you know that you can make an order that will be cheaper. But the day you have versus today. So you pay more just to get argued with no one, but you understand that you pay more, but you prefer to pay more than to bring the present.
It happened to me last month. My nephew had a birthday, and my brother, and my little brother is like the inventory manager of the family. He buys stuff from AliExpress and stuff like that, and then tell him, Itai, Adam has a birthday. Where are we at? He didn't invite, he didn't order something. Okay, so we had to go to the Red Pirate and get robbed like a real pirate. Okay, and then I understood why it's called the Red Pirate. Okay, because we paid 5 times what we would have probably buy.
No, but then you also get like a ticket for a change, you know? It's like,
He gets a ticket for a change.
it's valuable.
Yeah, but still, next time I told him, as we gave him the present, the nephew, I told him, Itai, now it's the time to invite to order stuff for next year.
What I did with my big girls is I always, when things were on sale, I would buy like a whole bunch of whatever. And then we have like a stock, like when there's a birthday party, you go through there, whatever you think the person's gonna like, and
Yeah, so
that.
so again, he's a great inventory manager because he knows all the tricks and shticks of AliExpress, and he always had like if my phone case is broken, so yeah, immediately he goes to the inventory, and here you are like a machine. This is why I was so surprised. I thought, okay, this one is on me. You're not ready to be self-employed. You still need to have your manager. So this was the lesson.
I mean, I think we spoke a lot about this already, but yeah, it's obviously just like drinking too much now and like not thinking about like the hangover of the next day, or spending more money now than you have, or eating this thing now, or like not exercising now, staying up late.
Great, exactly. Okay, so we understood unless someone wants to give another example, but we understood exactly present bias in general. Okay, things that we consume now at the expense of the future, health, diet, savings, going out, money, or whatever.
Actually, you talked about it before, but I'm wondering if like the fact that we live in a crazy country, you have a war every day, does it make us be more present by it?
So I'm not searching specifically like time or cultural differences, so I can't tell you honestly like a peer-reviewed answer, but I would say yes. Yes, definitely. We are living in this crazy society. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Also, in other countries, they don't know what happens tomorrow. But sadly for us, all the risks that we have, like existential risks, and we can never know when it happens. Even in quiet days, okay, all these terror attacks and stuff like that, you only want to sit with your friends and have coffee somewhere, or go on the street, go back, okay, the story 2 months ago, okay, בעמק, okay, עם נערה בת 18 ליד עפולה, okay, so crazy stuff. So definitely it can affect the way we consume, it can affect our decisions, it can affect our risk, how much risk tendencies, okay, the risks that we are willing to take. So
the way that we grow up in poverty, we grow up. I used to work at the Mandel Foundation, and he would come in a couple times a year, and he's a billionaire, but he would still buy his clothes at like Walmart because it's like very, very, very careful.
So
he came from nothing.
So Warren Buffett, actually, I don't know if he came from nothing or not, honestly, like maybe you know, but it's still
very humble beginning.
What?
Came from very humble beginning.
So, very humble beginning, yeah, and he still buys McDonald's. Drive-through.
Is that why you buy McDonald's?
It's a correlation between
You and Buffett.
we consume and our investment portfolio, but at the moment zero correlation. Okay, but yeah, so it's the way we grew up, it's our education, our family. Okay, many things can influence that. Okay, so summarize this theoretical part. You will like it because I see that you're writing. Okay, everybody. Okay. You're sharing the summary?
She said
Always. Half
Okay.
Spanish, half English, and
But we learn Spanish like that.
Send me an email and you'll get the points for that. Okay? No, באמת, you should. You did
don't
that.
worry, I will take them. I will take them.
No. No.
No.
First, you already know I presented it also in the syllabus in the first lesson. Maybe you didn't, maybe not in the first lesson. I apologize if I didn't, but I think I did. Your grade is 100% the exam, but under my decision, upon my decision, like the commitment and the way you participate and stuff like that, you can get credit bonus. Like
You reserve the right to give us more points.
what?
You reserve the right to give us more points.
Exactly. Okay. In this kind of situation, even if you don't participate and you do, still you deserve, in my opinion. So yeah, email me and you'll get it regardless. Okay. So to summarize, the domain is intertemporal choice. Okay, the way we people subjectively treat time and consumption and assign payoffs to different points in time. This is in general the domain. Hyperbolic discounting, this is the mathematical mechanism. How we discount the future? We don't discount it at a constant rate, like the exponential, rational exponential curves suggest, but we delay, we discount the future more than a certain constant rate. The behavioral pattern is present bias because we prefer immediate consumption and we delay at the expense of future consumption. Okay, so the behavioral pattern is present bias. We have a disproportional preferences for now. Okay, and the behavioral outcome of it is that we are inconsistent. Okay, we have several selves that are not aligned with each other. Okay, now I won't ask you also in the exam, tell me the relationship between all these. Okay, but you can have an open-ended question about time, and if you understand the connection between the terms and how they relate to each other, so obviously it will lead to a better answer and a better outcome. Okay? Questions so far? Okay, so this was the more theoretical part of it, but I want us to go over some biases that relate to time. Okay? Not necessarily, this is more of my classification, so it's not something that you can, of course, like it or not. Okay, it's fine, but I think this is the way we can classify a good way we can classify a few big fundamental biases or behavioral principles, which are also affected by time. Okay, a certain kind of shadow impact of the way we judge situation, process information, make decisions. Okay, so in general, we can categorize these kind of behavioral principles three categories. Okay, the future, I call it prediction errors. Okay, when we ignore past evidence and wrongly predict future events, we have optimism bias, overconfidence policy, which we'll briefly cover each. Then we have the past evaluation errors. Okay, when future outcomes distort how we judge our previous decisions, outcome bias, hindsight bias, and the present, okay, action errors, when past events, even if we took these decisions or not, can still dictate current choices. Okay, sunk costs, self-signaling, and inaction inertia. Okay, now also here in the exam, I won't ask you, give me two behavioral biases of this category, the past. Okay, but if you better understand how to categorize it, so hopefully the exam is important, but the more important thing is for you to again maybe internalize the material better. Okay, so this is like a general classification. Okay, so we will go over each briefly and understand it better. Okay, so optimism bias. Okay, the mistaken belief that the future is safer or better for us compared to others. Okay, we think that we comparing to others will have better results in our lives, in our relationships, in our job or whatever, and the likelihood of negative events for me, it's not like the likelihood of the general society. Okay, let's say I don't know what's the statistics now, one out of three couples divorce. This is the general population. For me, it's not the same. Okay, I'm over optimistic when it comes to me and the life result and my life result. Okay, it increases when we believe we have control over the outcome. Okay, so we are even more optimistic, and when we invest it doesn't have to be money. When we invest money, time, effort, okay, emotional invested in this certain decision or outcome, okay, so it makes us even more optimistic about the result. Real life applications, optimism bias.
I think this mechanism is very like if we didn't have this bias, we would be like depressed all the time. Like if I didn't think I would get good results in life, then I would just not work. Like I wouldn't study, I wouldn't work in a hard way. Like
Okay, so it can serve us as a certain of like a defense mechanism, similarly to diminishing sensitivity. When we talked back then about all the aftermath of October 7th and the way that we treat now this horrible news comparing to 3-4 years ago. Okay, so it's a certain kind of again defense mechanism to be able to continue with our life and also to be able to try to make investments and take risks and stuff like that. So we can think of many examples. Okay, most startups fail, but every founder believes that it won't happen for them. Okay, but obviously we want them. As a founder, I want to believe that I'm going to succeed because otherwise there is no reason for me to begin at first place. Okay, but again, on average, we see that more startups will fail than not. Health issues or health concerns. Okay, I understand that smoking is bad, but still people smoke because they might think that it won't happen for them. Okay, driving, the big and famous, it won't happen to me. Okay, I can text while I'm driving, or I can drink, it won't happen to me, everything will be okay. Okay, now, as Tali, as you said, okay, is being optimistic, is it something bad?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So what's the problem? It depends.
When it's unrealistic.
Who can judge what's realistic or
When you
not?
make bad decisions based on your
Okay, great.
It's like as a founder, I will probably make good decisions, assuming that I will make it because I'm planning to succeed. So I don't, factor in all the different things that will make me lose.
Mhm.
But driving while drinking or after drinking is a bad thing, and just considering that it won't happen to me is not a good enough.
Okay, great.
Ensure other people. Because for example, like in Princess Virginia talked about it, the woman said, I don't care about the rules while I'm driving because I hope that everyone around follows it. So if everyone around follow and I'm not, we'll be okay. But in the end, she died because no one followed the rules.
Okay, great.
Ensure other people.
Exactly. So also in general in life, not only for optimism bias, yeah. When our decisions affect other people, so we should treat it differently than when it affects only me. In most cases, by the way, also decisions that we make for ourselves affect other people, maybe not directly, but indirectly. I wouldn't say for sure, but most likely. Okay, but definitely it is a factor. Okay, so research show that optimistic people tend to invest more, take more risk, and these both things can lead to innovation and growth. Okay, it's not bad, it's not negative stuff. What's the problem? When we don't balance between our goals and planning. We can be optimistic in our goals. Okay, we don't want to shoot low. We want to push ourselves. We want to be better. But the planning should be realistic. If the planning is also too optimistic, then we have a problem. Okay. Next, overconfidence. Okay. It's not something that we are not familiar with. Okay. When we think that our judgment is better, knowledge, abilities, decisions. Okay, but there are three kind of types of overconfidence. The first one, overestimation, when I think that I'm better than I actually am. Okay, comparing myself to myself, I think I'm better abilities, I'm funnier than what I'm actually am. I'm more successful than what I'm actually am. Okay, so I myself am my reference point. Over placement, when I place myself above others, okay, kind of the better than the average effect, right? Thinking that I'm better than others. Now, if I'll ask you, who thinks here that he or she is more than the average student? By the raise of your hand, like better than the average student. Who here? In general. What? A level? What do you mean by that? שמה?
שיש כאילו מישהו אחד שחושב שהוא יותר טוב, באיזה level אנחנו בעצם נמצאים. תמיד יהיה מישהו שיכול יותר טוב מהמישהו הקודם.
אוקיי. אז זה יכול להיות איכשהו כאילו קשור לזה, זאת אומרת, the fact that we think that we are better, even though on average, okay, there is a certain average. A lot of people that think that they are better, they are not actually better. Okay? But yeah, so when you incorporate this kind of K thinking, so a lot of people that think that they are better than the other K, okay, and then it can affect the final outcome of the specific game theory task or something. Okay, but
also everybody thinks that. Like my first degree, everyone thought that they were the best. Like general thing about law, I guess. Lawyers in the Hebrew University, but it was really, really bad. Like everyone acted like.
Okay. Yeah. So of course it's annoying to be.
Not everyone can be the best, even though you're smart people.
Exactly. Okay. So let's say if I would ask you who thinks that they are better than the average driver here. Okay. So usually, okay, you're an honest class, or you don't listen. Okay, hope for fine. But usually, what happens is, of course, more than 50% raise their hands. But obviously, it can't happen, right? Because according to statistics.
But do you think Messi thinks he's the best? I think he does.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in sports that is very easy to rank. Like I feel sometimes the best ones have like this pressure, and somehow this overconfidence lowers.
Like
like over here in class, you can measure it. If somebody gets better grades on average than other people, then he's better than the average person. Also Messi scores more goals.
Yeah.
And he helps other people score more goals. He's better than that.
Yeah, he's objective, but I'm saying that maybe he doesn't feel like the overconfidence, like the feeling that he is actually better. I feel my intuition is that.
But then you have to think in
Yeah. So first it depends on the individual characteristics, right? Because if you see his biggest rival, pretty much he thinks that he is the best. 100. Okay, so
It's not.
okay, but of course in sports,
You have to deny.
in sports, obviously not only in sports, but there is kind of it
Like
depends.
I can think he's better because he won the last, but it doesn't. Like if you take the whole average of years, he's not.
You're only good as your last game, according to sports. Which kind of heuristic is it? You're only good as your last game.
It's like the one that like your boss will only remember the last period.
Recency bias. Recency bias, yeah. And can also think like we talked about it in terms of availability heuristic. You know, it's more profound, but yeah, recency bias. Okay. So for like addressing your question, so obviously again, personal characteristics play a role here also. I think that not only in sports, but in sports it might be more profound because you see people interview, you see people talking about themselves. So you need this kind of ego in order to succeed. If you want what you call like if you want to be him or her, if you want to be like the main, so you need to have this kind of drive. But if you don't back it with stats and achievements, so Obviously, it can be a bit ridiculous. But even if you do, you still again, everyone have their own opinion. But I think people might be more attracted to Messi, like his personality, than other players because he's also humble and he's also like shy, and maybe he doesn't really think that he's the best. So yeah, okay, and like what you said, so yeah, Bob, okay, so you can of course measure it. Okay, in class we can meet after the exam. We can see the average score, and then those who received higher than the average in this specific exam doesn't mean that they necessarily are better in the material, but in this specific exam they got more, they are better than the average. But if I'll ask the entire class who here thinks that they are better than the average, most likely more than 50% will raise their hands. Okay, so there is a difference between the objectivity, which you are right, we can judge it, and the subjectivity of our feeling or confidence.
This entire topic reminds me of the Dunning-Kruger effect. So, like the phenomenon of like there's like this curve of like the less we know, the better we think they are, and then there's like the date like we start learning about something, and then we think we're terrible, and then it balances over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it like I feel it happens a lot. Like I noticed it happens a lot, and also it's like, for example, people who choose creative studies, for example, in music, design. So you're like the best. Like I was the best kid who draws the best, and then I started studying this. And like, you know, everyone paints well, and I'm not the best anymore. And then like actually I'm not good as I was, and then it kind of balances throughout. And it happens like with people thinking they know about medicine and COVID, and like of course I know. And after they're like, no, I don't know.
How can we relate it to prospect theory, what you just said?
Prospect theory, why did I just
I want the relative gains on
Reference point, right? We judge our abilities according to a certain reference point, and the problem is that when I get to these situations, my reference point is no longer internal, but external, and then I judge myself by the painting ability of my peers and not the improvement of my drawings or whatever. Okay. And the third type is over precision. Okay, when we overvalue the accuracy of our beliefs. Okay, there is 100%. I'm sure I got it right. I know the answer correctly. 100%. Okay, so these are the three types in general. In this research many years ago, okay, but it still proves the point. They gave a clinical psychologist a certain case, but they broke the case in stages, okay, into stages. They gave them like a first piece of information, and then asked them how accurate you feel, like explain what this patient has, and how accurate do you think you are in judging this situation. Then they gave them another piece of information, ask them again, what do you think they have, and how accurate do you feel you are, and so and so, 4 stages, okay? And again, these are experts in their fields, okay? It's not like the common people having no experience in clinical psychology, okay? This is their domain. What do you think happened to their confidence level as we increase? Decrease. Confidence level increase, okay? As they got more information, and their accuracy remained pretty much constant. Okay? So what we can learn from that is first, there not necessarily is a connection between more information and accuracy. Okay? Doesn't mean that if we'll have more information on a certain situation, we'll get a better outcome or we'll make a better decision. Second, Most of the times we are anchored to our first impression, first judgment, first decision. Okay, we are not flexible. We are, of course, in general, not basing the entire human behavior on this paper, but these are stuff that we can learn. And maybe for me, the most concerning issue here is that at best, they had 30% accuracy. Okay, so if we were in the levels of 70, 80, okay, but still they didn't get it right, that right, okay, the case.
Or maybe the benchmark is wrong. Like, if they're trying to diagnose somebody, but.
Yeah, maybe the study, I read the study, but maybe the study, they could have improved the cases. Okay, I'm not a clinician, so I'm not familiar with that domain, but maybe they could have done it better. But still, if we look at human behavior in this case, okay, and we relate to overconfidence, we get more information, our confidence is higher, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are more accurate. Okay, this obviously can lead to less optimal decisions, but sometimes even to tragedies. Okay, we'll see in a bit. So, okay, confidence in general, we want to be confident. We are attracted to people that are confident. Okay, it leads to better belief in our abilities, motivation, hope. Okay, if I have confidence in myself, so more likely to set higher goals. So what is the problem here? Similarly to the optimism bias, okay? So is it a problem? Okay, so like everything in life, we need to balance. We want to be confident. We want our boss or our partner or our friends to be confident as well, but not too confident, because then it can lead to excessive risk-taking and confirmation bias. Okay, one of the saddest stories here in Israel in the past 10 years, okay, the Nahal Tzofit case. Are you familiar with that? Okay, 10 young Israelis lost their lives in a flood in Tzafit, Nahal Tzafit. Okay, even though there were severe weather warnings, these are all quotes that like the participants in this mechina and also other instructors as well came to the head of the mechina and another person there, and they said maybe we should delay the trip, or maybe we shouldn't take it, the weather is stormy, look at the forecast. And these are all real sayings that they said. Okay, at most they will see some flood, nothing can happen, the warnings are just kasta, okay, cover your ass by the forecasters. At most they will get wet, and we know the outcome. Okay, these are the quotes. Okay, what they said. Okay, so of course, if the overconfidence can lead to disasters, and confirmation bias. Okay, the tendency to search and interpret information the way that we want it to be interpreted. Okay, we want to confirm our existing beliefs. We want to confirm our existing opinions, and we contradict other evidence that defy what we think. Okay, even more so in this era of fake news and bipolar politics, which you have only X or Y, 1 or 0, right or left. Okay, so each side according to this bias, completely ignores the other side's beliefs or opinions or decisions or judgments. Okay, so we can think also about this kind of real applications. Okay, if we want we think that a certain diet will be beneficial for us, keto or doesn't matter. So I only focus on the benefits or articles or papers or thoughts that praise this kind of diet, and I neglect the other posts that say that it might not be that beneficial for us. Okay, both optimism bias and overconfidence it's also a bias. Okay, they can both lead to the famous planning fallacy, which was also coined by Kalman and Tversky. Okay, when we underestimate the time and cost and effort and energy of a certain task. Are you familiar with that planning fallacy? No? Okay, one of the fundamental famous biases or fallacies in behavioral economics, okay? Real life application of that, okay? When we underestimate the time, cost, risks, energy, money that would take us to complete a certain task or make a certain decision or do a certain activity.
Yeah, the class example was just like deadlines. I mean, we're going to finish it much faster. There was some, I think, economist that I don't remember who said that whenever someone told him that it was going to be done in a certain amount of time, he like increased it by an order of magnitude. Mm-hmm. Like if someone said, I'm going to finish this in a day, he like doubled it. And it was like, it's like not just a day, it's 2 weeks. Mm. So they, or at least one order of magnitude. So like, if we say, oh, it'll take you 2 weeks to do it, it's like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
Yeah,
so like this might be a certain tool like to compensate.
To overcompensate for people who
exactly
who have the planning else.
Putting this kind of buffer.
Like every task at work, when I block time to do something, and then like I
life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
And project management.
Exactly. Okay. One of the famous examples. Okay, the Sydney Opera House. Okay, they planned to complete it in 4 years for 7 million Australian dollars. It took extra 10 years. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to go that fast. Okay, but here maybe it's not only due to planning policy, but yeah, extra 10 years and 95 million.
Overestimated the benefit.
What?
I don't think they overestimated the benefits for the Opera House. It became like simple, and I'm sure it made back the money because it became like the traveling destination.
Time took.
Exactly. So we don't the planning policy doesn't necessarily mean that at the end the future benefit covered the costs or the time. Okay, but the initial when you compare the initial plan, 4 years, 7 million.
No, but the second part of overestimating the benefits. So what is it?
Yeah, maybe in this kind of investment, and when you look at like the further consequences, and you derive the tourism effect of it and stuff like that, also the monetary influences of that. So maybe, but at first when they were there, they didn't think, okay, maybe even if we'll have extra 10 years, an extra 95 million Australian dollars, still after like in 2026, we'll still get it back. Okay, so at this point, at the point of the decision, still for them now maybe it covered the cost and they see the benefits, but even even if it happened, and probably it did, it still took a lot of time. They still underestimated, okay, the time that they will see the benefits or the magnitude of the benefits.
But I mean, if we talk about Rakevet Kala, you say it's overestimating benefits as well?
At the moment, yeah. When we'll have a Rakevet Kala, of course, there are a lot of benefits, but comparing to, if you compare the initial plan to what happens now,
And just
we
want
have
to say that
a planning policy.
Girl from Jerusalem, it's so much better here. Like in Tel Aviv, the Rakevet Kala was amazing compared to what happened in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was delayed in Jerusalem. When we here in Tel Aviv, like they're still working in Jerusalem on the other line of the Rakevet Kala. Before they started the line that's already working here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again,
also reference.
I think infrastructure might be like an outlier for it, that we always perhaps underestimate the costs and everything, but we also underestimate the future benefits of it. So I don't think it's.
So still, the benefits are still the benefits, the same benefits. When they planned the opera, okay, the opera house, so they probably said, okay, we're going to get these benefits in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, okay, we'll have some time, the opera house should operate and only then we'll get it, but they still underestimated the timing of the benefits, when they will see the revenues, and so on, okay, but the main idea here is the first part of underestimating the time cost that it will take us to complete this certain task.
Is it just like any planning, like if I'm waking up too late to come to class, then I'm like, this is like also an example.
Yeah, so if it,
I didn't plan, right.
Yeah, if it happens once, okay, twice, okay, but if it's again, differentiate between error and a bias or a fallacy. When it happens repeatedly, time after time, every time I know that when we meet with Michal, so I need to take another extra 10, 15, okay, so then it's planning fallacy. If you're late once, okay? Planning policy? I don't think so. Because what are the benefits?
זה הקטע שהן מעריכות כאילו את הנוכחות כביכול.
So I don't think it's I would say maybe outcome bias. Maybe even not so, but planning policy not because you don't focus on maybe the time or cost or effort or energy or mental.
The risk and you're overestimating the benefits.
So maybe if you're underestimating the risk, so it's more you can more connect it to like the perspective, like you're in the lost domain of an abusive behavior, you're willing to take more risk, but I also think that it's like doesn't fit exactly. I can think of something that might maybe sunk cost, okay, because you already know this person, and now I'm going to be in a different relationship. Maybe it will happen again or whatever. Maybe.
There's a lot more in psychological.
Yeah.
The person.
Planning policy. I wouldn't necessarily have to do planning policy. Okay. So we have some more, like in previous classes. I will address it in next week. Next week we'll have again the small tail that we have left, and a short introduction to behavioral change. I do want, however, to show you very briefly some questions to the exam already, because I don't want to delay it to next week, because then it will be a bit tight. Okay, so this is what we have next week. Okay, so you already know the structure. Okay, multiple choices. You have you can choose 12 out of 15, true and false statements, 8 out of 10, and open questions 1 out of 2. Okay. I already mentioned also like what I'm going to, what's the purpose of the exam. Okay, it's not a memory task. Okay, of course, if you'll know better the experiments, or you'll be sharp on the names and stuff like that, it will be better for you, because you'll be able to either explain the open question better, or you can maybe understand better the concepts and then answer better in the first 2 parts. But I'm not going to ask you directly specifically about dates or researcher's name or specific results. I can ask about asking you to express or to explain a certain phenomenon using a real-life example or a study that we presented in class. Okay, so it's not like you don't need to know these studies, but I'm focusing about understanding the concepts and understanding the material, and not just looking at you if you memorized a certain experiment or a certain research. Okay, this is the general notion, or at least where I'm coming from when building the exam. Let's review some short examples. Okay, Neil's family visits an outlet mall once a month. Neil notices that it takes him significantly longer to park when the lot is half empty compared to when it is nearly full. Neil's behavior is best explained by. Okay, someone thinks differently. Okay, see the paradox of choice we talked about in the first lesson. Okay, the common saying, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it probably is a duck, is a classic example of A, B, D. Representativeness. Okay, the more a certain object relates to its prototype, okay, the more we think that it is more accurate, fits better. Okay. Daniel and Phil are professional poker players. After starting the night with 100K each, Daniel has lost significantly, and is left with only 15, while Phil has won and now holds 120. According to the reflection effect in prospect theory, Phil is more likely to play recklessly than Daniel because Phil has a buffer of winning to fall back on. True or false? Why?
Because the person that already won wants to win.
You're in the game doing insight.
Exactly. We are risk seekers in the domain of loss and risk averse in the domain of gain. According to the principles of hedonic framing, an individual would derive greater total utility from taking 4 separate 4-day vacations throughout the year than from taking a single continuous 16-day vacation. True or false? True. Okay, true. Again, we said if we want to maximize our gains, we should segregate them. Okay. An example for the open question. Okay. So basically what we discussed now in this class. Okay, so this is the general idea, the concepts. Okay, sometimes it might be a bit more complex than this level. Sometimes it might be even a bit less. The idea is if you study, if you review the presentations, recordings, you've been here in class, there is no reason for you to not succeed in the exam. Of course, to get a very high result, you might need to control the mechanisms and be more into the material and really understand how things work, because sometimes it gets a bit more complex, okay? But it's not like I'm going to surprise you with incredibly difficult exam. This is not the idea. The idea is to see how you can implement or how you understand the material that we cover. I would say, and then we finish because I know you will have another class, okay? This is the first time that I'm teaching this class, so we don't have formal exams. The previous way that the previous final assignment was different. It wasn't an exam. We can talk about it next week if you're interested, but believe me, as someone that checked this kind of assignment, I was the TA, okay? You don't want to do this assignment, so an exam is much better, okay? What? Yeah, so I don't have
ChatGPT mock-up questions.
I don't have, it would be irresponsible for me, okay? I don't have formal exams, but I will upload like 5 questions from like the multiple choice, 5 of state, true or false statement, okay? I will do it, I will prepare it, and I will upload it next week. After next week class, I will have time to do it. And this is basically it.
And we'll have
okay?
the presentation after today.
Yeah, of course. Either later today, tomorrow I will upload it, or I will also have, of course, I will try to challenge myself, and I will give you other examples than that. Okay?
Great.
Different 5 questions, okay? Thank you. Have a great weekend. כן, בתזמון מי שיהיה במצב של תדע.
צריך לדעת מה